Right here, it's the boat. Wasn't in the boat. And they're not giant. Does this ever get old? Oh yeah, dance for me. Show me what you're working with. That's a little good one. Biggest fish today. That's a good one. We still don't have this fish in the net. Brian's still got one in his hand. But we do now.
Would you get that on there, Ross? A jerk bait as well?
Jerk baits, I'll tell you what, you know, Brian, we always want more and bigger fish. And me and you are not patient guys, but the temperature came up a little bit, and you can see, I mean, these fish, as they're moving up to pre-spawn, just fat, big bellies, and they're on the chew. I mean, that thing was barely moving, so that's a little bit of the key too. You know, mine was just almost pausing when I was kind of talking to you. So suspending jerk baits.
Yeah, you pause these jerk baits in the spring especially. Sometimes people leave them paused for 5-10 seconds at a time, even longer. You know, you hear people talking about leaving them, you know, paused for a minute. I don't have the patience for that. Do you, Ross?
No.
But
Again, all these little things, you have to, each fish, even if it's not a giant, is gonna teach you something. And you know, when Brian said, hey, you know, I caught that fish with only a 1 second pause, to me, like, hey, we don't ever know.
there's definitely something to the slower retrieve, and I just got hit right there. See if he can come back for it. You guys?
You've done that twice today.
There he came back for it. I paused it for a second and he came right back and ate it again. Just like that. He missed it the first time. It's kind of how you see that bait's all over the place. He missed it the first time. I paused it, he came back, and they just hit these baits with such force that it just, you know, they get hooked with all these different treble hooks in all different locations.
Well, Brian, I don't know if this looks familiar to you or not. We just talked about being some perch. We're gonna try the perch crankbait. Oh, crankbait. Oh yeah, the old crank. It's a little better fish too, Brian. He gobbled me. Oh, look what he just spit up. Get that right there. See that right there? He just spit up a perch. Literally, he just spit up a perch right there. Hey, that thing just, I mean, you want to talk about match the hatch? Brian, that thing spit up about an 8-inch perch right at the boat.
What do you think's in his belly right there? Look at how fat that belly is. Originally fishing some jerk baits and some tubes. We really had to slow down on our jerk baits today. A lot of long pauses on the jerk bait, and that's normal for really cold water. And so the jerk bait slowed down, and Ross started catching some on the tube. So I thought, you know what? I think we should get out a blade bait. The water's still cold enough. These fish seem to be relating to the bottom in the deeper areas that we're fishing. I said, let's just put a blade bait on and see what we can do.
Now, show them what a blade bait is. A lot of guys at home probably don't know what a blade bait is and why it's so great, you know, in the cold water. I mean, that's a cold water bait, right?
It's definitely a cold water bait. You know, anytime that temperature's in the 40s or even colder than that, these blade baits are electric.
Essentially, what a blade bait is it's a metal blank, usually made out of brass, with some lead molded to the bottom, and they have a lot of fluttering properties.
It doesn't look like a whole lot.
A couple treble hooks.
And a hunk of metal, but
it has a lot of vibration though.
It vibrates big time. So you can swim these things, you can flutter them up off the bottom. You know, I'm basically just throwing it out there, letting it sink, and then I'm just slowly lifting it. So you just start to feel that vibration of this thing going. And that's what really triggers a strike. When you drop it back down and then you pull it up again, that's right when they hit it. You feel it. As soon as you drop it and you go to lift it, they're there. They've sucked it in.